Yeah, well, there's that difficult difference between recording in a conversation with somebody and recording by yourself. Those are so different concepts, like opposite concepts. I always imagine. I always try to imagine that there's somebody else there that I'm in conversation with or talking to, but it's definitely a very difficult skill. I really respect those like talk radio hosts who are able to sit down in front of a microphone and just talk and talk and talk, and so they seem to flow naturally from one topic into another topic, because it's a really difficult art. I've done a bit of it myself, but I always find it completely unpredictable. Like sometimes I could talk for a minute, and that's it. That's all I have to say. And sometimes I could talk for half an hour, and somebody has to go, stop him. And I don't know what the I've thought about it a lot, and I'm not sure what the difference is between those two things. I think there's just a natural limit on people's abilities and interests related to certain topics and subjects. It's also the way in which people present, the enthusiasm and the energy they put into something matters as well. A lot of people will give a presentation and it'll be very dry. It'll be very just A, B, C, D, and there won't be anything too interesting about it. But if you put some effort into it, even making mistakes is part of everything, right? And admitting to the mistakes and doing little extra things like wearing a Santa party hat. It's a little bit of a cliche. But you can say that as well. Do you like my cliche? Because we all have to be Santa to ourselves, right? Right? We all have to deliver the goods. We all have to do the work. And so there's, you see the effort. And you know what's interesting? It's interesting that if you go into YouTube and you have a look at people's videos, there's people who are paid nothing to create some of the content there, like most people. Like 99% of people are paid nothing to create content on YouTube. Quite a great marketing model. And they put amazing effort into it. They put amazing effort into it. The people create their own documentaries about topics. It takes them years and years, and they have to collect all these different clips together and edit it, and they're not paid for it. And they produce, it's interesting. It's really interesting. Sometimes when you don't pay somebody, the product of their work is actually better than when you do pay them. It's one of those epic contradictions in business that suddenly when you pay somebody, like a good soldier, they sit and they wait. A lot of times when you're in the army, when you're in the military, a lot of time spent waiting. You spend time in preparation. You spend time in training. None of that is easy. But you also spend a lot of time waiting, as well. Waiting for things to happen. Waiting for orders. I was just watching a documentary about World War II, and strange topic. I got up this morning and I thought, what am I going to do today? And I had my plan. And then I suddenly decided to look for World War II videos on YouTube and watch some of them for some reason. And it was talking about the D-Day landings. You know, when Britain and America attacked Germany in France during the Second World War? And the soldiers, the American soldiers, and probably some of the British ones as well, had to sit or stand, so a lot of them stand on a boat in the English Channel for 6 days. The soldiers were on the boat in the English Channel waiting for that attack order, waiting for whoever, General Eisenhower probably, to make the decision to attack. And so the soldiers were on the boat for like 6 days there, just waiting. And then when they got the attack order and they got to the beaches of Normandy at the other side on the French coast, you know, after standing for 6 days, they couldn't move. They were trying to run up the beach, but they couldn't actually physically move properly. It's the madness of war. And of course, if you can't move, you get shot, right? So it was all mad, but it was really interesting. Really interesting to go back and I was actually, it's interesting that the propaganda, and I like looking at all the different aspects of war and conflict and how it started. Because if you look at the world right now, there's a lot of aggression and aggravation and strange things happening. And if you look back in history, you can see a lot of similarities in the way things are organized. Can't cross borders, shouldn't go outside at certain times, lockdowns, curfews, isolation, a lot of the same things that we've experienced in the past, slightly differently, but all very interesting.